Here we are.
Here we are.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning, everyone.
I stopped watching the latest episode of Alien Earth to start this podcast.
I have not. They come out on Tuesdays, right? I think
I think so.
Tuesday nights. Yeah, I have not watched this week's episode yet. We usually catch up on the weekend.
I saw someone say, or something online said, do not be eating while watching this episode.
Oh, it's one of those. Yeah. Well, the Alien series in general is a lot of like this thing crawls into a space in the body it's not supposed to. Yeah. But by the way, I would recommend anyone who wants to watch Alien Earth, which I recommend. I think it lives up to the Alien name. Is get Hulu and watch it on streaming as opposed to trying to watch it on FX, which is a maddening fucking experience. As there's commercial breaks every 7 minutes or something, and the commercial breaks are like 4 minutes long. It is wild. They have. Luckily, my wife subscribes to Hulu. I did not, but man, a much better experience watching on Hulu than on FX.
That YouTube stream was pretty good last night.
The football game?
Yeah. Free
Well,
for everyone. The integration with like watch with creators, like the watch party system was pretty cool.
I also think just in general, like seeing games in 4K versus seeing this in baseball specifically, you see a baseball game in fucking 4K, like on Apple or whatever. And then we go back to, no offense to NBC Sports Philly, but it makes like the difference between 4K and not 4K is like HD to SD for me at this point. Yeah.
It makes no difference for me.
You're one of those people? My wife can't tell the difference between SD and HD. It drives me fucking bananas.
If I'm we're talking about like going back to like 2006, then yes. Yeah. But like, I have a tough time comparing two things if I'm not watching both things at once
at the same time. Yeah, sure.
Like if I'm just seeing it, I'm like, well, that's what it is. And then if I go somewhere else and then see something later, I'm like, well, that's also what it is. That kind of quality or sound quality on its own doesn't really register for me. Yeah,
it's funny. I actually think a lot of the people, this is not a support or criticism of Spotify business practices, but like when everybody starts switching from Spotify to Apple and they're like, Apple sounds so much better. It's like, all right, let's do a blind listen test and see if you can tell the fucking difference.
Lossless audio, that's real. Real technology.
I challenge all you guys, I can tell the difference between Apple Music and Spotify to do a blind listen test, and we'll see.
I can't tell the difference between jack shit. Nothing at all.
That is a shirt. I can't tell the difference between jack. Maybe it's the intro to the pod. You gave it to me. Wait, that's not how I start now. On the show today, Tyrese Maxey loves the Cowboys. Ben Simmons might retire. And a restricted free agent guard signs the qualifying offer. Ooh. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS. And brought to you by Anthony Degli Obizzi, the official financial planner of the Ricky. Text Ricky to 484-471-4873 to set up a consultation. Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged. Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at barkerbeds.com/Ricky. And Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, the official canned cocktail of the Ricky. Now, we have a very limited number of Ricky partners here because we only do so many podcasts. But the opportunity for you today, we've done this before for charity auctions where we auction off a commercial on the Ricky. Now, you can either do it for your business or you and your friends want to make fun of another friend or something. It is for the Brandywine Valley SPCA auction, which is only today. It's for their gala. We will put a link in the show notes. So you can bid on a Ricky commercial. You can bid on a Ranger Suarez autographed baseball, a Zach Wheeler autographed baseball, and then this Eagles game day thing where you get Eagles tickets to the Lions game, lower level, free tickets to a tailgate, autographed Brandon Graham jersey, and there's like 100 different lots. But it's only today on Saturday, so we will put the link in the show notes. And remember, all the money goes to help homeless animals at the Brandywine Valley SPCA. And I will remind you, the Ricky thing does not have to be a commercial. It can be a minute about how much you love your wife or husband. I don't care, as long as it doesn't make us look like bad people. I think we'll say it. For sure. Speaking of looking like bad people, you look like a good person if you're drinking Surfside iced tea and vodka. I don't know that that's true, but you certainly look like a happy person. It's only got 100 calories, which makes you happy. It only has 2 grams of sugar, which makes you happy. All the flavors are the right amount of sweetness, whatever your favorite is. Like, I'm not a big peach tea guy, right? So I don't love the peach tea vodka, but it is the right amount of sweetness. I love the lemonade and vodka, love the green tea and vodka. Like, whatever your favorite is, it's perfect. It also doesn't have any bubbles because iced tea shouldn't have any bubbles. Find it wherever you get your canned cocktails or go to drinksurfside.com. Got to be 21 and please enjoy it responsibly. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights of Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy who doesn't know anything about anything. That is one Mike Levin.
Not a thing.
Not one tiny thing about
One thing I do know.
Yep.
All episodes of The Paper are out on Peacock. Reviews are in. They're pretty good.
I don't want to get to the review stuff because there's a question later on about reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I have the paper segment built into the...
Oh, look at that.
Come on, man.
Look at that.
Come on. I'm, right here. I'm your partner. So, but yes, they're all available on Peacock right now as Mike writes for season 2. So you can, sometimes when you're watching shows on streaming, you're like, I don't know if I want to invest all this time because I don't even know if this show is going to continue past this year. Well, we know this show is going to continue.
We know, and viewers of this podcast knew because they saw me at the office before other people did.
Yes. At the office, no, pun not intended.
Pun not intended.
Pun not intended. So I figure we have to talk about this simply because there's not very much else to talk about. But Tyrese Maxey, Eagles played the Cowboys on Thursday night, and Tyrese Maxey, who apparently is a Cowboys fan, took to the internet and said the following: Philly fam, I love you guys dearly, and I'm so happy the city got a ring, but today we're beefing. Go Cowboys. He's
from Dallas. This doesn't bother me one iota. Not even a little bit.
I don't care that he cheers for the Cowboys. It's just like, I don't know, every once in a while, the team just fucking sucked so bad last year. It's like, you have to tweet about being a Cowboy fan. Like, I'm not mad or anything. It's just like, come on. I don't need you to fake it like Bryce, right? Like, there's Bryce Harper's a Cowboys fan, and then he was a Commanders fan, and now he's an Eagles fan. Like, I don't need you to be. It's
interesting that you feel that you don't like both sides.
No, I don't think like waving it in everybody's face is like, I guess there's a good time for everything. If everybody was in a good mood about the Sixers, it would be one thing. If everybody's in a bad mood about the Sixers, and it's just another thing to have to like fucking defend or whatever. I just think it's annoying.
To me, it's everyone's in a good mood or should be in a good mood about the Eagles. So like, we're worried about Maxey being a Cowboys fan when the Eagles beat the Chiefs by 1,000. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. I also think it's not a personality flaw to be from a place and then root for that team.
No. Again, no problem with him being a fan. No problem with him being a fan at all. And then he followed up, obviously, because he got the response. Serious question. I'm literally from Dallas, Texas. Yeah. How could you even trust me if I became a full-on Eagles fan over the 100%. Cowboys?
Yeah.
But then why is he rooting for the Eagles every week except for 2 weeks out of the season?
Because he feels like Philadelphia. Like, I'm not I root for the Dodgers when they don't play the Phillies. I live here.
They're not rivals.
They are a little bit. A little.
The Phillies and the Dodgers, they're not rivals.
They've had a number of postseason over the years. I'm not saying they're certainly not Eagles Cowboys.
No.
I mean, Yeah, I guess if I lived in New York, I would never root for any New York team.
Yeah, like you wouldn't root for the Mets or the Knicks or the fucking
Yeah, I guess I
Giants or
wouldn't.
something, right?
I guess that's fair.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was a kid. He moved here when he was what, 19, 20.
Yeah.
He's been here for whatever 6-7 years. I feel like he feels like this is part of his home. I like that he roots for the Eagles on all times except for when he plays the Cowboys. I think that's totally fine. And also, by the way, can I do an Eagles thing? I'm sure you had to talk about this 7,000 times on the air.
What?
Like, everybody just needs to. The Eagles are a vacation. They're a vacation from the world. They're a vacation from the fucking Sixers. They're a vacation from the stress and angst of the last few years of the Phillies. They beat the Chiefs by $1 billion in the Super Bowl.
No, this is
and it's just like, I just know. Let me do it. You're
this
doing
is a casual attitude.
We can feel very happy that they just won the Super Bowl. It's week 1, which is basically a preseason game because nobody plays preseason.
Except that it counts.
It was very funny to me when the Jalen Carter thing happened. Obviously, it's a dumb fucking thing to do. I'm not defending it. I just thought it was very funny, and I'm in so many text threads of people that are like losing their minds about it. I'm like, guys, we can just have been like, okay, we won the Super Bowl. It's annoying when they don't like make a play or something, but to be as worked up about it, I'm trying to be. Let's look at the big picture. Let's be holistically happy. We have 2 franchises, and if you're a Flyers fan, you can go there. We have 2 franchises we can just be deeply upset about all the time. And that with the Eagles, they're one of the best organizations in sports, let alone football, and they're personnel wise incredible. They're young. They're going to keep getting better. They're going to have a shot every year. And they just won the Super Bowl by $1 million. They beat a dynasty. They beat one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I just feel like if this
I don't understand who you're reacting to, because most people were happy with the win and then not happy with Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott.
I get my brother.
Okay.
Months ago. I forget what it was about, but he got very stressed out about. It was like a month after the Super Bowl or something like that. He got very stressed out about like the schedule makers are trying to fuck us. It's like, guys, they just won the Super Bowl, and then people being upset about like they didn't look as good as they should have looked against Dallas, and like the defense looks, especially in the first half, looked weak. It's all. I just feel like if this is how you watch sports, then when you have a top to bottom excellent organization for years now, coming off of a dominant year where they won the ultimate game, Spike.
And then why they're playing it again next year?
But I think that was the ultimate game, honestly.
Okay, all right.
And if by before the season, week 1, all that stuff, like you're already so upset about it or so worked up or so frustrated, I just think that like you're never going to be happy for more than like a day at a time. And we just gotta because of how frustrating the Sixers are and because of how like gripping tightly we are with the Phillies because the window is closing or closed or whatever. I just find the Eagles to be like such a nice vacation of like, hey, they're probably going to figure it out. And they're going to have a real chance to make another run this year. And what a nice thing that is. And the reason that they're popular as you know that they are is because people feel this way. Like I'm not saying not to care. I'm not saying not to care. It's just like, isn't there a honeymoon? Don't you have a little bit of a honeymoon?
Yes, I think they do have different perspectives here, right? So I just spent the last 6 months talking about the Eagles, at least in part, not every day, but in part. There was literally nothing they could do the entire offseason that would make anyone that I interacted with on the show question what they did.
Yeah.
I was like, they just, like 3 of their best defensive linemen are just gone, replaced with nobody. Their CB2 gone, replaced with fucking a guy who sucks from the Giants. Their safety gone and replaced with Sidney Brown, who couldn't even get on the phone. Like
all those things. Well, young players improving in their second years, hopefully. Is the idea.
Sidney Brown's third year, Keely Ringo third year.
The defensive line. I mean, the corners with DeJean and Mitchell.
So anyway, but point being, I was like, is anybody worried about this in the defense? And I was like, we just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But then when they start playing again.
No, I understand.
Yeah, and also
I understand that on some sense. I'm not saying you can watch the Cowboys and be like, I don't care if they lose by 40. Like I understand. I'm not saying that, but I just feel like it ramped back up so quickly. And I certainly, for your job, understand where your perspective is, which is like you have to try to create like topics that aren't just like, isn't it great?
Yes.
Which is mostly what I would do. But for people that are not doing it professionally, I found it surprising and a little bit like I was a little bit stumped by like, man, we're right back here like instantly.
What I would say
it's like objectively, it's funny to me that Jalen Carter got kicked out before the first play of the season. Like that's funny. That just it has to be funny, and they won that game anyway, so it makes it funny as well. Like
I don't think it's funny. I think but especially after Van Sumeren got hurt, which I know you're not saying is funny either. But it was just like I think what I would say is, on the whole, living here, I think more people feel the way that you do in general than you think they do.
Sure.
Like I can tell, having now done, this would be my second season on the radio at WIP during an Eagles season. Like, there are a lot more pissed off people after the week 1 win last year than they were this year. Like this year, it was just like, it's early. You know, people were upset about the Jalen Carter thing. Now, I also thought it was funny that the way people act about, now I thought what Jalen Carter did was stupid, whatever.
Of course.
But the way people
funny.
acted...
Stupid shit is funny all the time.
But the way people acted about, like, if they happen to be spit on, it was just like, yo, someone spits on me, you're going to have to put me in handcuffs because I'm going to kill that guy.
Yeah, Jalen Carter is where to...
Yeah.
This next caller going to attack Jalen Carter on the field.
Yeah. So, well, they were actually they were twisting themselves into knots to say that Dak Prescott actually spit on him first,
I
which
get
didn't
that. I get that.
happen. Yeah.
Let me just say, if the Sixers win a championship, I'm gonna be fucking feet up with a Mai Tai for the rest of my life.
Yeah, like it'll be August forever.
It's perpetual August. I can't imagine what that would feel like.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Anthony Degli Obizzi, who is going to help you save enough so, you know, in, I don't know, a decade, 2 decades, you can just have August for the rest of your life. Not going to work. You should plan for your future. You should be smart with your money. You should not have to spend hours and hours figuring it out yourself. That's what Anthony's for. That's what he has been for me and for my wife. And as somebody who didn't start saving until my late 30s because I was stupid, or I was I didn't think I had enough, right? I just wanted to take every dollar and make sure I paid for everything. I didn't know anything about it. It is stupid to wait that long. If you have, you can get on it now with Anthony. If you're younger than that, you don't have to put away thousands of dollars every month. Anthony works at Menastra Financial Group in Delco, but he is perfect for whatever you need in terms of financial planning. By the way, if it's life insurance, whatever it is, it has to do with money, Anthony can help you with it. He is like, if you're somebody who wants to be very, very, very involved and know everything that's happening every day and move quick and stock market and bullshit like that, Anthony can help you with it. For me, that's not what I want. I want to make sure when I'm done working in 20 years, we have enough money to live and be happy and relaxed, and that's what he helps me do. So I check in with Anthony maybe once a quarter. You want to do it every day? That's what he's there for. He makes you feel comfortable. He explains every part of what you're doing. He figures out what your risk tolerance is. And the other thing that I think is great about Ant is that he doesn't want you to have to take every penny you have extra and put it away. He wants you to be able to live your life. He's a fucking Disney family. So if you're going to Disney every year, you need to be able to live your life as well. And he knows it. So if you haven't done this, or if you're not happy with the person that you're with, I suggest just reach out to him, have a conversation. Text the word Ricky to 484-471-4873. That is Ricky to 484-471-4873. Anthony Degli Obizzi, the official financial planner of the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. Yes. We did a whole podcast on Sixers former owner, Michael Rubin, which by the way, some people were like, why the fuck did you do it? But the real Ricky heads, that was one of their favorite episodes of all time, which I appreciate. But a current Sixers minority owner, we have to give huge congratulations to because David Adelman, who they brought on to help build the new arena, recently found out that he is being inducted into the Multifamily Executive Magazine Hall of Fame.
What the fuck is that?
From David, you're old when you start getting inducted into halls of fame. I'm honored to be inducted into the Multifamily Executive Magazine Hall of Fame. But let's be clear, this recognition isn't about me. It's a reflection of the incredible team at Campus Apartment.
What is that?
That's the company. That's the big company where he got all his money. By the way, that's the guy that sits courtside on the games. That's him. Yeah. That's his. So, from our executives to property staff, along with our partners and the college communities we serve, none of this happens without their hard work and dedication. Man. Congratulations to David for getting into the prestigious Multifamily Executive Magazine Hall of Fame.
I'm in the Hall of Fame for having a little snack during the day, going to the fridge, looking around. Getting a little snack.
By the way, people concerned that journalism's dead between the Michael Rubin article and now us knowing about Multifamily Executive Magazine and their Hall of Fame.
Alive and well.
Yeah. Who else?
That's what it's all about.
Who else do you think you might be in such a?
I can't wait to find out. The money's not enough for them. We got to get little treats, little awards as well.
You've always wanted to be a multifamily executive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very big. So, not entirely surprising, but I think worth talking about, obviously, because Ben Simmons was such an enormous. The Ben Simmons story we remember it well, but now that it's gone, I think there is a tendency to, maybe at least for me, to forget about the fact, to not put yourself in the place where this was supposed to be one of the two cornerstones of the Sixers in the future. And there was a moment, a couple of years where it looked as if he was going to fulfill that, right? Like he was very good right away. And now here we are. When was he drafted? 2016. Yes. Now we are 9 years later, and per Mark Stein. So there's two things here. First, per Mark Stein, as Ben Simmons decides his next career steps, I'm told Bernie Lee has notified the NBPA that he has formally removed himself from the union's ledger as Ben Simmons' agent. Bernie Lee also is Jimmy Butler's agent/lawyer, and I believe he negotiated. Or he did the contract for Joel Embiid's extension because Joel doesn't have an agent.
Yeah, that's right.
And then per Stephen Bondy, who is a New York NBA writer, I think he's a Knicks guy. I don't think he covers the Nets at all. But Stephen Bondy said Ben Simmons has generated interest from the Knicks and another team, but is also questioning whether he even wants to continue playing in the NBA next season. Just wild that the guy would be out of the league in 9 years. By the way, same as Markelle Fultz, who could very well be out of the league at some point soon too. But Markelle Fultz was never appeared to be what we wanted him to be. At least Ben Simmons did. Just an insane turn of events that Ben Simmons might not be in the NBA at all.
Yeah, it's sad on a human level, I think. It is for both Fultz and Simmons. It's crazy how good you have to be in the NBA, obviously, to get picked that high. Simmons, all-star teams, all that stuff. And it's crazy how good and how tantalizing both of their skill sets were/are, that even if you essentially take away one of the most important facets of the game from them, that they're still, for years, been kicking around at all. That's why they got picked that high. Without, Fultz with an enticing jump shot, lacking some consistency, but with a lot of potential. Shot well at Washington, and then Simmons. Man, he just stopped doing everything. He just slowly, like piece by piece, just got pulled apart until all that was left is like a guy that can rebound and defend and drive and kick.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like he stopped doing a lot of that stuff over the years in Philly. And then as he's gone on and he's dealt with actual back issues, not just like unwillingness issues. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy how good they were and how bad they became. It's just unusual to watch it dry up like that for it to happen to both guys.
Well, I think for Simmons in particular, it just shows the danger of, or the consequence of, surrounding yourself with people who will not be honest with you. And I think Simmons had I don't want to over analyze him like mentally or whatever, but like I think it happens to a lot of players who get to the NBA who had such a enormous talent and physical advantage with lower categories of basketball, high school, AAU, and then college. And when you didn't really need to get better at the things that you're not good at, right? That's why I think so many players get to the league and can't shoot yet, because they can get themselves open so easily and they can get to the rim so easily because they have such a physical and talent advantage. And then they get to the NBA and they have to get better. And he just seems like everything he said basically enabled himself to not acknowledging the things that he was going to have to improve on, because he had been so successful up until that point, even within the NBA, having not improved on them. And that everybody else was sort of dumb for saying those things. And it just didn't appear as if because we know Brett Brown publicly said it plenty of times, right? But just constantly enabled by the people around him to not, who knows if he had become, but he was a 60-some% foul free throw shooter at some point. There's no reason why he couldn't have been 77% if he just fucking worked at it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, so much of the Ben Simmons conversation, more than anybody else, and Joel gets some of this also, is psychology.
Yeah,
is
100%.
imposing whatever assumed psychology you have onto this guy. I don't really know. Whether he tried to get better, whether he couldn't, whether there was some mental block, whether he took it seriously or it was too late until he took it seriously, whether his people around him, family, friends, agent, whatever, were telling him no, don't change at all, or being honest with him about what does need to change, and he just didn't listen. All that stuff, whatever it was, it didn't work. And whatever he tried, it didn't work. And he never became a full player. He was always part of a player. And that part of a player was still really, really good until it wasn't. And it just kind of kept getting stripped away. So I don't know. I speculate. I hesitate to say here's the prescriptive thing you need to do.
Oh, yeah.
Or should have done. But only results based. He was not a good shooter when he was younger in the league, and he just stopped doing it. And until he was barely a functional player anymore.
I mean, crazy. You look at the final highlights from him and the quickness with which he would get rid of the ball if it appeared as if somebody may foul him or may put him in a position to shoot. It used to be, you mentioned drive and kick. It used to be he would drive into the lane and kick, but then it became drive to the top of the key and then get a little worried that somebody might foul you.
They kept covering him like that, which always drove me insane when he was on another team. It was why is anyone covering him?
Right.
Why? You're doubling onto him?
Right. Yeah.
Wild.
Don't know if you saw this. Did you see the stolen home run ball controversy?
I did.
Night?
I wish there was another angle, I'll say.
There is. There's
there
a second one.
Okay, great.
Well, so there's another angle of the fight in which you can hear what she is saying to him. So there's not another angle of what happened, but there is another angle. I forget who had the second angle. So here is what everybody saw on the broadcast. Harrison Bader hits a shot, a home run, big win for the Phils, even though it's the Marlins.
In Florida, but only Phils fans.
Yes. So the dad goes over, 10 seats over, gets the home run ball, gives it to his son, starts hugging his son. And here's the amazing moment at which the woman walks over, grabs him by the shoulder, and starts yelling at him about the baseball. Now, my favorite part of this is his reaction when she touches him. It is complete shock.
It's exactly how I would react.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
What's going on?
You're just not expecting being grabbed.
No.
When you're feeling good about yourself, all of a sudden.
Yep. So here he goes. Once again, gives it to his son. Was very happy. The son's, and then, whoa.
The shake goes for so long, which I think is pretty.
Yes, and then he ends up saying,
stimulating.
He ends up saying, "Fuck it, give her the fucking
I don't give
baseball.
It's just a fucking ball, man. Yeah. Whatever, take it."
And then the kid ended up getting an autographed bat from Harrison Bader after the game. There's a nice moment.
Cool.
So there's another angle in which she is yelling at him, "You took it out of my hand," and he is saying, "No, I didn't. The ball was there. Whatever."
Yeah.
So I think she was certainly Oh, here it is. Here's the angle of the fight.
Okay.
So I actually think the dad handled this the best way.
Totally.
Go get a ball for your son. She freaks out on you. Give her the fucking ball. Whatever.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. And she's like, I understand if he did take the ball out. First of all, he probably just tried to grab the fucking ball for his kid.
Yeah, it's a loose ball.
Yes. You're a grown up. You got to let the ball go or tell him to go fuck himself or something, but go over and demanding the ball from the kid.
It's a really bad look. Or even from him. It's just a bad look. But whatever. I don't know. Yeah, I'd be interested to hear what her. I mean, people going to Florida to watch the Phils. Like, there's some sick fucks that are doing that. I don't think anyone's a casual there.
No. Well, and by the way, a lot of those people live there, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Clearwater style.
Yep.
No, funny video. I'm not I'm not riled up about it.
Yeah, I would like to say, please.
I think a loose ball is a loose ball.
I think she was out of line. Don't hunt her down and find out who she is. Like, we don't need, because I can see the way it's going on the internet. I can see the way it's going. We don't need to know where she works.
No.
We don't need to find her Instagram and flood it with comments.
No, some things can just be funny.
Yeah. And by the way, the kid got the autograph meeting Harrison Bader.
It worked out great.
Getting the bat. Yeah.
Worked out better.
Is better. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by LL Pavorsky Jewelers. Look, if you buy an engagement ring from LL, the next person, whether it's 458, whatever the fuck it is, he's going to give you a baseball. How about that? I'm promising it right there. He's going to give you a baseball.
Signed LL baseball.
Yep. He is the first sponsor of the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. And on some level is like one of the Ricky. He has sold engagement rings to over 450 Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners. And you just sort of know that once you listen to this podcast, if you're going to get engaged, it has to be with an LL ring. Now, we wouldn't send you to somebody who sucked. So the best part about this is not only do you have to buy the ring from LL, but he's the best. He takes one-on-one time with everybody. So he's not trying to get you in and out so he can get to the next customer or whatever. It is a low pressure, high information, high comfort environment where you make an appointment with Lee. You go into that store that's been there for more than 3 decades. Because you'll have a conversation beforehand, he'll have everything that you want to look at already laid out. And he treats everybody like amazing, whether it's a $1,000 engagement ring or a $100,000 engagement ring. I would like to get a cut, the $100,000 engagement ring. But all that being said, he treats everybody the best. We love Lee. And once you buy an engagement ring there, you got a guy for jewelry, whether it's birthdays or anniversaries or just because you love your partner. As I mentioned, for an engagement ring, make an appointment, 215-627-2252. That is 215-627-2252. Email him at lee@llpavorsky.com. And by the way, always supports our charitable efforts, Mama T's Community Fridge right now and Providence Animal Center. LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
Rings so good you will shake with genuine surprise like that baseball dad.
What a moment. So the first qualifying offer guy or the first restricted free agent guy, there has been some movement in the market. In Cam Thomas, who definitely this entire time has been team publicly, I'm undervalued, bet on myself kind of guy.
Yes.
Signed a 1-year, $6 million qualifying offer with the Nets. He averaged 25 points a game last year. He does, if you sign the qualifying offer, you have a full no trade clause, and then you are an unrestricted free agent after the year. I do not think Cam Thomas is, this doesn't make me think that Quentin Grimes is going, I think this is not a smart move for Cam Thomas. I don't think the league values him as much as he thinks they do. So I don't think, this doesn't make it any more likely that I believe that Quentin Grimes will sign the qualifying offer.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, so he took the $6 million qualifying offer and he gets a no trade, that he said.
Yep.
Instead of a 1-year $9.5 million with incentives to go to more, or a 2-year $30 million. That's what reportedly was being offered.
I didn't see the 230. Okay.
There's more teams we can go into the unrestricted free agency. There's more teams that can give you a contract. Cam Thomas, 20 years ago, I think it would be right to bet on himself.
Yep.
the league tends not to value this kind of player in the way that they used to. Offense first, offense second, offense eighth, no defense, limited passing, just buckets from the mid-range. That's really what it does.
Yeah.
And he was always the most likely one to take the qualifying offer. I wouldn't say that it doesn't make me a little bit more anxious about Quentin Grimes, because you just don't know what these guys are thinking. Like it's ultimately like Quentin Grimes. It might be the right decision for the Sixers and Grimes to agree on something that's like, hey, let's just settle at 460 or something like that, or like 345 or something. But they might just, feelings get in the way. They're human beings, and they might just go, no, fuck this, I'm not going to do it. And then there's just a weird pall hanging over the season because Grimes needs to get stats to make himself into a player that can get paid and unrestricted. And the Sixers are like, we don't want you to do that. You're not doing the role player things that we would prefer you to be doing. And then there's just like tension in the locker room, and there's tension on the court and all that stuff. It's just, you just want it to be put to bed. I think with Cam, Brooklyn is going to be so bad. I kind of don't know why he wouldn't want to. You're playing. I mean, maybe he just really likes Brooklyn and doesn't want to get traded to some random organization or something. But like playing for one of the worst teams in the league, they drafted like 4 point guards in the draft just now. They need Cam as a shooter, but like they're not going to be a good team. He will probably have all opportunities on the court to average 20 again. I don't know. It's I get it from Cam's perspective where it's like, all right, 1 year, $6 million. He's still young. Grimes is a little bit older, but it could get bad, and I just don't want it. I just don't want it to. I would like it to be like sorted out, and for there not to be like an extra like variable in an already like variable heavy season.
Yeah, I just don't think it's a great move for him. Is really, and that's without knowing.
Which him?
I don't. Oh, Cam Thomas, whatever. Quentin Grimes. I just like, given the situation. He may be a good role player, and that may increase his value if he plays this year. But I just don't know that his value will ever be higher than it is right now. And it sucks for him that ends up coming when he's restricted. And again, we don't know the offer. They could be lowballing him. They could be saying $10 million a year for 4 years. We have no idea. But I don't think they would, and we'll see. But that
would suck.
Yeah.
It would suck. It would suck to do that. I hope that the luxury tax is not playing so much of a factor here.
Well, it always
You can talk to me about the aprons, because that's so restrictive, but
they're all sort of the same thing. You're just talking about from a money perspective specifically? Okay.
Yeah. And then because you can get rid of over the course of the season. If I don't mind going like last year, right? When the Sixers were horrendous, was not the year I would have said, hey, let's pay extra. I think they should do it every year, or it's not my money. I don't give a fuck, whatever. But like if we're operating under the principle that an ownership group and a front office does not want to pay the luxury tax unless it's like a very important year where they cannot avoid it, then last year was not the year to do it.
100%. Yeah.
This year remains to be seen if that's the case. Leaving themselves having some options. Like if the season is going to shit, then I wouldn't be upset or blame them for trading an expiring Kelly Oubre for very little or nothing, or obviously giving away Andre Drummond probably with a second or something. Like those kinds of things, that makes sense. But before the season, when you're still hoping that this is going to be a functional NBA team, that if a couple guys are healthy, they can make a run in a pretty wide open East, then I don't want to nickel and dime Grimes to where he's unhappy, and then this hangs over this team all year long, or he takes the qualifying offer and
well, it hurts them in the future too.
it hurts either way. So
yeah, because even if like, let's say they play this year and oh my God, McCain is even better than we thought. Maxey even got any better. VJ Edgecombe, oh my God, we don't really need Quentin Grimes. Then he's valuable to trade if you don't need him to. So
100%.
Yeah, I think he's valuable no matter what. So
I still think no matter what, like I think
it'll get settled.
I think Grimes Edgecombe can absolutely be a 2-3. You know how I feel about like what is a 2 versus what is a 3. If guys are athletic enough and play physical and hard enough, it's not a concern to me whatsoever. The bigger issue, as we've talked about, is like having rebounding around Embiid because he can't go up and get rebounds like he used to, and having big athletes, which they kind of don't really have on the like big power forward size. I just think like Grimes fits so nicely with any of the other 3 tentpole guys, Maxey, McCain, Edgecombe. He plays hard on defense. He can attack a closeout. He can make shots. He can play off movement. I would love to see what last year we saw him like as the focal point. He did a lot of cool stuff. He's not going to get as many opportunities, but the fact that he can is extremely useful. And I'm looking forward to seeing him be high value role player in real team.
Absolutely.
And I just don't want it to like, that's the only good part of last year was the Caleb and a pick for Quentin Grimes, or Grimes and a pick for Caleb.
And
that's
the
like
2
the
weeks
only
of
good part
Jared
of it.
McCain.
And the 2 weeks of Jared McCain.
Yeah.
And Yabusele, but that amounted to nothing. But like, it's really this. The thing that you acquired last year that comes over this year is this thing. So I get that we got that the aprons are restrictive and you can't, every dollar counts. But like, if we're not going to be serious about trying to retain someone that would have value and grow with the group and play hard at a position of need with skill sets of need, like if they're already thinking too far into the like, well, we got to get a good deal. There's got to be a compromise. That's all I'm saying.
Speaking of compromise, you may remember the when CJ got kidnapped, and by Coven, if you remember, and there was some suspicion that Tony T was part of Coven, was part of kidnapping CJ because of the vote how Process Hall of Fame went. We haven't heard from Tony T in a while. We did receive a video of a song with Tony T and Doris Valone. Now you might remember Doris Valone from the deli.
The deli, yeah.
Not this soft pretzel water, but there is a visual now for Tony and Doris. So this is a moment in which, if you just listen to the pod, I would imagine if you're on Spotify, you can watch it, or if you go to YouTube or whatever. But this is something else. So here we go.
Yeah, what's up, CJ? How could you just let me pass by? You never even did try. So now I'm just gonna sit here and cry. CJ,
I'm bringing CJ up.
you're always in my heart. And I really do think we could have had something special, even though we got off to a rocky start. I know you still blame me for getting you kidnapped. And I'm telling you now that I didn't have nothing to do with that. CJ.
Oh, God.
How could you just let him go? He's pretty good and bad. I just thought that's something you might want to know. CJ. Now the love you had was dead. And if you ever want to come back, we'll save the spot here in our bed.
Our bed.
I know you blame him for getting you kidnapped. I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure that he ain't had nothing to do with that. CJ.
Oh no.
DJ.
Oh. The
Was
kiss
that-
at the end.
Was
Yeah.
that in response to me getting engaged?
It has
Is that
to
the
be from
reason?
getting engaged.
Oh,
yeah.
I hadn't even thought of that.
It's got to
Yes.
be getting engaged. This is a get you back album.
Yeah.
Do you regret not? I mean, with as interested as Tony T was, do you regret not pursuing that relationship?
Yeah, that is something to think about. I might have to reconsider my current living and life situation with my fiance due to this wonderful performance by Tony.
Yeah, well, and by the way, the visual of Doris Vallone is incredible. Who has
Yeah.
the what's it called? The nose, the breathing apparatus on her as well.
Was not
Our
expecting
bed.
that.
Remarkable.
What a psychotic thing! What a psychotic thing!
Absolutely out of his mind.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. You mean Tony? You mean, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Right, the real person, Tony.
I mean Tony, the real person who is operated via puppet hand.
Right.
That's who I mean.
Right. The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is brought to you by, Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Rebel sleeps on a Barker Therapeutic Dog Bed. Scotchy sleeps on a Barker Therapeutic Dog Bed. When we go on vacation, we have the travel Barker or whatever that folds up because the other ones are too big and too supportive to get into your car. You should do the same. The Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds were made in the first place engineered by experts to keep your dog healthier. Your dog will get older, will develop arthritis. That happens. It happens just like in humans. And just like the bed that you sleep in matters, the bed that your dog sleep in matters. This is the only bed, real bed, supporting your dog's joints, engineered by experts to make sure that your dog, if they're young, will stay, springier longer. And if your dog's old, we've received several emails from Ricky listeners whose dog started sleeping on a Barker and actually saw a difference. And wouldn't you if you went from sleeping in a bad bed to a good bed? All this proven by a study at Penn Vet showed an improvement in joint function, reduction in pain severity, all those things. All that is to say, go to barkerbeds.com/Ricky. You don't believe me, you can learn about the beds. You also go to barkerbeds.com/Ricky. This is the only place you're going to get the Process Pup patch. It's the only place you're going to get the sticker for free. And then you send us a picture of your dog on the bed. Boom, Process Pup. It doesn't, it was called Big Barker. Now it's just Barker. If you have a big dog, they have an XL, fits your big dog. If you have a small dog, doesn't matter, they have the Barker Jr. If you want it to match the furniture in the room, every different color you can imagine, every different configuration, headrest, no headrest, whatever it is. But the most important thing is you are keeping your dog healthier and happier by having them sleep on a Barker. Once again, barkerbeds.com/Ricky. There's a 10-year warranty. The foam won't flatten or they replace it for free. It's handmade in the USA. Barker Dog Beds. Oh. All right. I'm a little taken aback by the Tony Tindos. Okay. I mentioned the stuff from the paper. So we had a couple of emails asking questions. I think they're good questions as well. This comes from John and Madeline. And by the way, we have a great picture from John and Madeline at the end. CJ, you have that? I hope. Yeah. John and Madeline, dear Spike, Mike, and CJ, both of these questions are for Mike and relate to past reflections on the pros and mostly cons of stars consuming online opinions about their work on the court. Question 1, non-basketball question. With the recent release of Mike's exciting work on the paper, and the review pieces are flowing, how much of this content is Mike consuming? How is he feeling? Does he think this approach is healthy? 2, basketball question. How would Mike's answer change if his rec league play was getting as much coverage as the paper is getting right now? And here is a great little addendum from John and Madeline. I just wanted to share that about a year and a half ago, you read part of my email on the pod about the premature arrival of our twins, Matthew and Christina. With our kids still in the NICU, I got to watch my wife's face light up during a dark time when she suddenly heard you sending us well wishes as we watched the pod together at home. There may have been some tears. If Embiid can cry, so can I. Just wanted to let you know that after 2 months in the hospital and tons of support and prayer from family and friends, both twins are doing incredibly well, much better than the Sixers over the last 18 months, that's for sure. I'm attaching a picture. Thanks for all you do for us sickos.
Very sweet.
Right? Look at how happy and healthy
Very
they
sweet
look.
email, lovely picture, very cool.
Yeah. So congratulations to John and Madeline and
Yes.
their two lovely kids who are doing well. Now to the questions. Are you consuming all of the paper reviews? Do you think it is a healthy way to live the way that you're doing it? And if it were about your rec league basketball team, would you be doing the same thing?
Well, it's interesting. This is easily the most promoted and most reviewed show I've ever been a part of. I was an assistant on How I Met Your Mother way back when, and I was definitely reading the reviews of the finale and stuff because I was interested to see how people would receive that. But we were not in the room at the time. The season had already ended, obviously, by the time that aired. So this is the first time that this really fully happened. I'd say we're reading some. It's hard to avoid. People want it to be received well. It's also particularly interesting because the content of the show is about a newspaper. So I think there are more newspaper reviews of this show than there would be if it wasn't about that.
It's very funny. It makes sense for sure, by the way.
And so I think some people are reacting like, oh, the show is about me and that's cool and that's why I like it. Or the show is about me and you got it wrong.
Right.
And that's why I don't like it or part of it. So I think it's interesting how people's backgrounds, obviously, and what they're coming from impacts how they enjoy something, obviously. I think we're reading some. I think my bosses care what people think, and if there's like a collective consensus about something, then I think they would adjust. The Office and Parks and Rec are shows in this universe that have made tweaks or something because of how things were received early on. So I think all information is being filtered in and digested through the hive mind of the writer's room, and we'll see how it changes as we keep writing season 2. Really good question of how my rec league play would get as much coverage as the paper is getting. I would melt down. I would do a bad job. I would start making a lot of mistakes. We are, 6-1? I think we're 6-1. We're in first place. There's only one game left of the regular season. I play like this. I don't play like that. When I play, I'm pretty intense.
Mike playing basketball.
I'm in my prime. Honestly,
Sign me. True.
Yeah.
We're 6-1, atop of the league. There's some, because of Labor Day we didn't play last week, and now this week we have a bye, so it's like a little weirdly off. But we're guaranteed a playoff spot. Only top 4 seeds of a 10-team league make the playoffs, and so we'll see how it goes. No coverage has happened thus far. I guess I don't know in the playoffs if it would change.
Might ramp up.
Maybe actions come. Yeah. For sure.
Noah also sent a note, paper related. Spike, Mike, CJ, and Harold to rights@rickysanchez@gmail.com. Non-basketball question first, since we're in 2nd August. I'm watching the Eagles game, and therefore all of the promotion for the paper.
A lot of promotion.
What's that?
A lot of promotion during that game.
Yeah.
I will say, my Eagles rant earlier notwithstanding, had the Eagles lost by a lot and they kept promoting the show, I know Philadelphians, and you start to resent the thing that you're being served so many times while you're watching something that you're frustrated by. 100%. So I'm glad that it was at least a close game and then a game that we won.
Noah continues, I bragged to my wife that, quote, my basketball guy wrote that show.
That's right. I am your basketball guy.
Which she didn't have on her bingo card.
Easy.
I was half expecting there to be a Ricky Easter egg in the ads throughout the game and was disappointed when nothing made the cut for the day one promos. Mike, are you tempted to drop in any Ricky references while writing? Are your coworkers aware of the pod? And have you ever been caught trying to drop a line in there? What's the most Sixers-related joke that you could think that you could get away with?
I've definitely named characters within, whether it's my episode or other episodes that you sort of pitch on, various characters in the Sixers universe. Someone was definitely named Hollis.
Okay.
For obviously our good friend Hollis Thompson, who was criminally underrated and only shot 40% from 3.
Could we get a Doris in there at some point?
A what?
A Doris. Could we get a Doris?
Oh, for Valone?
Yes.
Yeah, it's you never want to be caught. You never want to be caught putting that in there.
Right.
So you kind of defer to like a name that sounds like lived in. depending on the show. Some names,
Sure.
some shows would be like, okay, we like a wacky name and that's a funny thing. And some it's like, oh, you just want to sound like unique or like, lived in, I think is an interesting way to say it. Definitely occasionally tempted to drop in Sixers or Ricky references. I mean, the Naked Gun movie that just came out with the Embiid reference in the credits is certainly willing to do it. But you pick your spots. You can't be so out front about it.
And then the other part of the question: are your coworkers, the other people in the writing room, aware of this?
The show,
the pod, like are they?
They
that was
are.
the other
Yeah,
part of his question.
yeah,
Okay.
they are. There's sometimes it'll be like the idea of a podcast will come up, or like something on a podcast and how that relates to news and stuff would come up, and everyone kind of turns to me and is like, well, what do you do? And I was like, I mostly just sign on. I sign on to do it. Spike and CJ do the rest.
Yep.
But no, I try to provide a valuable perspective on that.
Basketball question from Noah. What do you think will be the biggest rule change in the NBA in the next 10 years? Anything as major as the pitch clock or DH in both leagues? My guess would be the elimination of the corner three. I think that would be the most significant thing that could happen that I believe has a realistic chance of happening.
We've talked about each basketball court having like a different wrinkle the way that baseball fields do.
Yeah.
I'd say that's unlikely, although
Yeah,
it's
that's
fun
very
to live in that
unlikely.
world.
Yeah.
I think that the Elam ending should maybe be renamed, but
well,
I think
yeah,
it should be the end of games. I think that is how all pickup games are decided all around the world, and it would at least do a large help in eliminating the late game fouling bullshit that we have to sit through most games. It's just not very entertaining. And
I agree with you. They do need to give it a cool name, for fuck's sake. Instead of obviously being named after the Denver Broncos kicker.
a guy, yeah, I don't think he came up with it, but a guy like that. That's it. Yeah, I think, I don't know, maybe I could see free throws for maybe much of the game being a 1-for-2 situation to try to speed the game up, where if you're fouled shooting 2, you take 1 free throw and it counts for 2 points.
Oh, interesting. Really?
That happens in a lot of rec leagues.
Oh.
They'll do that to speed it up.
What about them adopting the college one and one thing?
Well, I love a 1-on-1. I've always loved a 1-on-1. I think that it adds a lot more spice to the thing. So I would be in favor of that. But yeah, fewer free throws, I would say, would be my preference, and quicker reviews, obviously, but that's not a huge rule change.
Yeah, and I don't think they'll ever do the things I wish they would do. One, the block charge bullshit, just find a way to stop it completely. It's stupid. It's not basketball. And two, just every time I'm sick of seeing coaches and players talking to the refs. Every time they whine about a call, 2 free throws to the other team. Just end it. Fucking no one likes it. No one watching the game enjoys it. 0% of people enjoy it. It only makes people annoyed watching it. Just fucking get rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying I like it, but I get so regularly frustrated watching NFL football when there's like 15-yard penalties for like a slight taunt, or like you stand over a guy after you tackle him and like flex.
Well, that's new. Yeah.
And or like how even was it Blankenship that got called for the defenseless receiver?
Yes. Basically hit him with his hip.
Yeah, which is just like you're those kinds of like, so they're so minute. The fractions of a second of a movement, and if you just didn't do anything, then your coach would ream you out on the sideline if he caught that in front of him and you didn't like make an effort to stop it. I just think that it's not the way sports work and human bodies work, and I think 15-yard penalty is just too much. It's just way too much of the field for it to give them on those kinds of like touch plays. Obviously, roughing the passer. There's been so much to talk about that, about how soft it is. So
up. I just don't want players whining that they get fouled every time.
I understand that. I understand. I guess 2 free throws is maybe not as much as 15 yards, or maybe it is accurate, but
I just think it would stop it. Like
maybe
the thing about the Blankenship thing is I just don't. Like, I don't think there's anything Blankenship could have done to stop that aside from
Yes.
not pursuing the play.
Yeah.
I think we could just shut players up by, like, just in this. Maybe designate one player on each team that's allowed to complain about calls or the
Sure.
coach, but just not every player.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I hesitate to give officials more power as they are people I don't respect whatsoever.
Finally, this comes from Elliot, writes Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Was CJ the original Pablo? Dear Spike, Mike, and CJ, not Daryl, since he's involved in this question. The Pablo Torre story on Kawhi has made a lot of NBA reporters wonder about the role of crypto in these types of ways skirting the cap, specifically talking about Brady and others' association with FTX. Given that a lot of the use cases of crypto seem to be skirting laws, then it would make sense that Color Star and the whole NFT craze may have been about giving the Sixers stars money under the table. CJ truly may have been onto something. I don't think that's what CJ said. Too bad the Process Hall of Famer couldn't have followed up on it. Thanks for making August bearable. Well, look, now you didn't mention anything about that when you were talking about Color Star, right? You were just talking about the company being fraudulent, right?
Yeah, I would also say probably 98% of what I was saying was already reported by the defector, and I was just like repurposing it.
Yep.
I believe I said that then as well. So I would not compare anything I did
to Pablo.
what Pablo is currently doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the crypto thing is a whole different thing from this, right? Like they didn't. The thing about this thing is they weren't hiding any payments to anyone. There's a contract between whatever the name of that company was, started with an A, whatever it was, and Kawhi Leonard. Like, there's a contract to pay him. They paid him in real money. The thing about crypto is that crypto isn't traceable because it doesn't happen in banks. So if you wanted to give somebody money and hide it, I suppose you could do it that way a lot easier than you could regularly. It'd be tougher to follow up on.
Has your perspective changed on this story?
No. So I listened to. Did you listen? You listened to the original one in full?
I listened to Pablo
Okay.
and his reporting. I did not listen to the Pablo Mark Cuban one, but I did listen to the Zach Lowe podcast he did. About it.
I thought the Mark Cuban conversation was a good one. I mentioned this to CJ before the pod. I thought, like, what I took from the Mark Cuban conversation, and neither one of them was going to sway from the other one, is that I think Pablo would have benefited from having that conversation off air before the original podcast aired. Not that it would have changed his mind, but I think he would have gained additional perspective. So I think there's two things. Here's my take on it. And by the way, like, I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm just saying what I think based on what I've heard. What I think based on what I've heard is that Pablo uncovered a lot of stuff that people do not generally know about that is pretty gross. So the whole fake company, like the whole fact that by the way, nobody seems to be questioning the fact that Leonardo DiCaprio endorsed this fake company. Robert Downey Jr. endorsed this fake company. They didn't know it was fake. Like, they got scammed by it too. And like, this was a big thing. So it uncovered which I don't.
The difference, small difference. Well, I guess not small, but they were promoting it, or at least using their voice. Like Downey had his voice used for it. Kawhi was paid $7 million per year for nothing at all.
Right. But I think you could say I had never heard of this company prior. I've never seen any of those advertisements. I'm not aware of them. Like, all that is to say, original point being, I think it uncovered a lot of weird shit about a company that looks awfully shady.
Yes.
That is an umbrella over the entire report. The other thing is that it's also a report about a team that has been suspected and one time kind of like fined for it, not exactly fined for what we're talking about, but fined for like setting up a conversation between a sponsor and a player, DeAndre Jordan, and I think it was a Lexus or something like that. So I think, like, my perspective is that it shows a lot of gross stuff. It does not show to me at all the claim that Steve Ballmer used this company to pay Kawhi Leonard more money in an effort to circumvent the salary cap. I do not believe that what he has reported shows that. It doesn't mean that it can't happen, but I think what he is doing is what people do with a lot of like shady stories that they don't know the truth to, is take a bunch of facts that you could put together to come up with a conclusion because you do not have a conclusion. There is no answer. So you could do this with any conspiracy theory you want, from like the moon landing to flat Earth to fucking to even things that ended up being true to a certain extent, like Jeffrey Epstein, all those things. But I do not believe that I understood a lot of what Cuban was saying, and I do not believe that Pablo in his reporting showed that what he thinks he is showing. Now, it might be there somewhere, but I don't believe that is what happened. So
because Ballmer is like a relatively new owner. He is the wealthiest owner maybe in sports.
Mm-hmm.
There were interviews that I think it was on Pablo's where he's earlier talked about how unique of a position he's a sports owner is.
Yes.
When you
can't just
business
overpay
partners with your competitors.
Yep.
And that you can't just, like you said, like pay as much for the thing that you want. You are constrained by all the
rules,
the cap
the
and the
CBA
rules and everything like that.
By the way, his previous industry is famous for just overpaying, like in tech. You want somebody, you just pay them fucking twice as much as your competitor's paying for them, and then you get them. You know,
if he invested $15 million in this company,
yes,
Kawhi took a deal that at the time people found weird, and Kawhi signs up for this company, gets paid $7 million a year to do nothing. What is, to me, that's like if I'm on a jury, even though there's not like
well, it's circumstantial evidence. You can't.
Yeah, but we're not sending him to prison. Like circumstantial evidence is still evidence.
Yes, but it is not evidence of guilt. Like,
so what do you think happened?
What you're saying to me is if I have a motivation to kill somebody.
Well, I don't want to. We shouldn't do kill because that's a separate thing. This is a financial.
I have a
situation
motivation to steal money.
Yeah,
let's say, and money gets stolen, and you cannot account for my whereabouts in that time. That is circumstantial evidence that.
And you have more money in your account. And
I have more money in my account.
That to me is like that's good enough.
But it isn't. It's not even close.
But it is on. It isn't in a criminal court, maybe. Well, but when the league is investigating one of their owners and other owners are saying, hey, you can't, this is fucked up, you can't do this.
By the way, if other owners were saying it, then we will have a result that is different than I expect.
Yeah.
Like David Silver works at the behest of the owners.
Did you listen to Zach?
No.
Zach thinks it's going to be somewhere between what the Joe Smith thing was, which was 5 first-round picks, and like the dinging
the DeAndre Jordan thing.
Well, like, yeah, I mean, just like any sort of tampering charge where it's like a couple $100,000 in a second-round pick.
Well,
he thinks it's going to be more than that.
That's a pretty.
It's a wide gap for sure,
yeah,
but I think
yeah.
I wouldn't. It seems like he estimates that it will be at least a pick, at least a first-round pick.
But if it's the first part of that gap, then we got penalized that a year ago because of what Morey did. So, like, we got penalized money, right? I mean, and a 2 maybe?
Seconds, yeah.
Yeah.
Not first, though. That's more serious.
For sure. Look, maybe he'll get punished for it. But I think what people aren't understanding is that, like, all of these things can exist without the thing that you're saying. And I just don't believe he was like, I think there are a lot of other things going on that people don't know about yet. But I also think that, like, he was scammed. Like, Steve Ballmer was clearly scammed by this company. If he was doing what people thought they were doing, he would be guilty in that scam, which he is not. He was a victim of that scam. Like, the Clippers did not get money that they were owed by this company. And the last thing I would say just about these relationships and how, by the way, this might be a problem in the league, but just to point it out, is that, like, Crypto.com is the Sixers jersey sponsor, just like this company was with the Clippers. Crypto.com has a separate endorsement deal with Joel Embiid. There is no way Crypto.com would have that endorsement deal with Joel Embiid had he not play for the Sixers, had they not have the relationship with the team. They are trying to accentuate their relationship with the Sixers by paying their star player. So that thing that happened in the contract that everybody was all aghast about, that he had to be on the Clippers, makes sense to me. It does not make sense.
Right,
So,
but it's different because Joel does post about Crypto.com or whatever, whereas Kawhi did nothing for this company.
yes, but Crypto.com's a real company, and this one was not.
Sure.
Well, I mean,
But
it
also
is.
that, it's at least to my knowledge, the Sixers owners are not on the board or on the investor whatever of Crypto.com.
Would you be surprised if Josh Harris owned
I
some stake
definitely
in Crypto?
would. I definitely would not
all
be
right.
surprised.
I
But
don't know that he does or doesn't, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he did. Again,
But
like,
to me, those are the connections that
sure.
are easy for a dumbass like me to make, which is Clippers owner wants to pay Kawhi more to stay. So he invests in this company that then pays Kawhi separately, and then Kawhi does absolutely nothing for them but keeps getting paid. Like
So
that is
why-
that's just a really easy circle to make. I'm not
Sure.
saying like it
Yeah,
for
yeah.
sure happened, but I guess I just trust Pablo's reporting, and the idea that like Ballmer wouldn't be dumb enough to do that, I think is just not a real defense, because otherwise I'm going to start doing really dumb shit all the time, and I want you to defend me
Well, wouldn't
for
he-
that in that same reason.
Given how incriminating this is, wouldn't he just do it with a company with that he like actually had a great working relationship with?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
People do dumb, borderline illegal. I guess I don't want to weigh in whether how illegal it is, whatever. But this kind of thing all the time that you could say, there was an easier way to do that, and that
Sure.
doesn't mean it didn't,
Yes.
or a smarter way to do that. It doesn't mean it didn't happen just because there
Absolutely.
exists other avenues for someone to do it. And again, like it doesn't have to be Ballmer directly saying, "Hey, via email, text, recorded phone call, pay Kawhi more through this company so that we get this deal." There's like levels of understanding that could have happened that without those things necessarily said or spoken or written down, that would still like qualify as circumstantially we believe this happened, and we as the NBA are going to punish you for doing so.
Yeah, I think you have to be pretty sure though.
We'll see. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's interesting.
I don't necessarily think you need a smoking gun email, but I also think that a lot of the things that and by the way, I would say I hope Pablo is right, because it makes we love Pablo, and it makes the podcast even bigger and better. And I think all that he's done at this point is impressive. But I think the things that he thinks are smoking guns are not smoking guns.
But what does he need to be right? What is he?
He needs to show what he's saying.
But
Like-
all he's saying right now is that the things that I just said, which is like,
Yes, but-
Ballmer has a history of wanting to pay, like being confused or frustrated by the like CBA stuff that he can't get around. He did invest in this company. This company did pay Kawhi this amount of money, and Kawhi did do nothing for them. Like,
Yes.
those are the things that he has shown, and I think he's letting the connections be made himself. Pablo is obviously not like a judge.
No, he's
or a
making the
prosecutor.
connections. Like you can't.
But
this is-
that's a reasonable, like, that's the connections I'm also making just by seeing.
yes,
those
but
things.
you didn't make the podcast, and you're not getting paid $1 million by The Athletic to be a reporter. So like, there's a difference. I just think again, I'm not saying he's doing anything irresponsibly. I respect Pablo a great deal. I do think though that we have gotten to the point where like people just asking questions their way into conclusions, because like, again, when you're trying to prove somebody's guilty, you have to prove they did it. They don't have to prove that they didn't do it. That's not how it works. You can't prove a negative.
I guess
can't
it's just in journalism, like, it's enough to say those things and to say like, it looks like this. And Pablo is not saying, I am going to fine Steve Ballmer or tax him of these picks.
No,
it's
but
like
you should listen to the conversation with Cuban.
Okay.
I think because I think I agree with you on the first thing, but on the second thing, he argues vehemently that Cuban is wrong.
Okay.
So I we'll see. Again, yeah.
To me, it's just like if I have a sandwich in front of me
Mm-hmm.
and you have nothing in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and I look away for a second,
Mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden there's a bite of my sandwich missing,
Mm-hmm.
and you're chewing.
Yes.
Like I can deduce that you took a bite of my sandwich without
for sure.
visual evidence, and I'm not sending you to jail for that. But I can be like, if a reporter was watching that, I'd be like, looks like he probably. I think that's why I get frustrated with like reporting journalism ethics that go like, we are babies. We can only report what people specifically say or have specific evidence of doing. I think there is some level of like, hey, I'm using my own, to the best of my knowledge. I'm like operating at the height of my intelligence,
Sure.
and making the connections that I'm pointing out here to say it seems like this thing.
Well, and at this point, it's up to the league, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what he can do is present what he presents, and
Exactly.
that they hired a law firm that specializes in these types
kind
of things.
These
Yeah.
types of things.
So coming up,
I wish there was. I needed like those like compilation albums that would play like in the middle of the night, where it's just a roll on TV, and it's like a rolling list of like all
yes.
the on TV,
Yeah,
it's
the
all
hits.
the
Like
artists
Freedom
on
Rock.
it.
Yeah.
I need that for a law firm, and like the types of things that they specialize in, and it's like burner accounts from a GM that he's blaming on his wife. It's just like it just keeps going. It just never stops.
On the next pod, we plan to have Shane Battier.
That'll be fun.
Formerly of a few NBA teams, but currently of the Battier Take Charge Foundation.
Yep.
And we will talk about that foundation. It's doing great work in Camden, in a number of places. Also, the event with the ping pong event with Daryl.
Yes,
and
I'm gonna ask him a lot of
Daryl's wife,
defense
Ellen.
questions. I'm excited to ask Shane Battier defensive questions. One of the
Yes.
best wing defenders in basketball history.
Oh yeah. Battier will be fun. I mean, Battier is Batum was the closest thing we ever had to Battier in this era, I think, of Sixers basketball. Right?
Can I say one Phillies thing?
Sure.
Got to sign Ranger. He's got to stay. I have no tolerance for letting Ranger walk. Absolutely none.
Gotta look at the market though.
He is the fucking man. He always produces exactly when you need him to do so. He is also having the best year of his career. He had a couple rough, certainly some rough months. I'm not saying he's a number one, but this guy is just the fucking man. And when we are starting, fucking Matt Beach and Vicente Padilla next year because Painter's not ready or he gets hurt or Wheeler doesn't come back in time or whatever, and we go, man, I wish we had like a really good fourth starter and Ranger's doing whatever he's doing on the Twins or whatever, we're going to feel stupid. And Ranger's just the man. He has been an outlier for every season of his career from minor leagues to now of like, oh, his stuff like kind of shouldn't play. He's kind of got like he doesn't throw that hard. His stuff doesn't really like, it just fucking works, man. He is the fucking dude. And I'm going to be so annoyed if Dombrowski lets him walk so that he can give a Whit Merrifield and a fucking Joe Ross and Kepler and the Castellanos should just like give him away to anybody that would pay that. Please,
I almost
God.
guarantee Castellanos won't be on the Phillies.
I agree with that also, but use the money that you can save some of by giving Castellanos away to pay Ranger because the dude deserves it. He's good. He's good for the culture of the clubhouse. He's good for everybody. It's good for me personally, which is what matters most. I love the guy. He's my favorite pitcher ever, and I can't abide letting him walk. It's gonna be. You can't.
Well, look, can I make you feel better in case they let him walk? The good thing is we owe Aaron Nola $150 million over the next 5 years. So
it's very, very frustrating. I would say I'm like pretty centrist on Nola. Like,
yeah. Well, also
he's having a bad
Taiwan's
year,
getting paid
obviously.
$20 million next year too. So
say it again.
Taiwan's getting paid $20 million
Yes.
next year too. So
You just can't be giving money to the wrong guys and not giving it to the right guy. Ranger's the man.
fair
He
enough.
should be here. You want him here.
Fair enough. We will talk to you Wednesday, I believe. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah, like face.